When creating architectural drawings, it's often necessary to duplicate a lot of geometry. So some of the most common tools for duplicating geometry include copying, mirroring, arrays, and offsetting. So beginning with copy, if we go to our transform tab, we'll see some of these tools like copy. This is also in our main menu, but we can see some of these commands under the transform tab as well. So if I select the copy icon, I can select the object to copy, press enter, select the point to copy from. So if I select this endpoint here, I can then begin to click to locate the position of these copied objects, and then press enter or right click to complete the command. I'm gonna hit Control Z to undo this so that we can look at the next command, like mirror, for example. So if I click mirror, I can select the object to mirror, press enter, and I need to define a mirror plane, which when we're working in 2D is a line. So if I select, let's say this point here and this other point here, you could see how it's creating a duplicate copy of this square mirrored along the line that I'm defining. I can also choose to create a copy or not. If I select no, then it's going to create this duplicate and delete the previous square. If I hit copy equals yes, if I select that option, then when I click to define this line, I'm going to have the original geometry and the new duplicate geometry. I'm going to Control Z again to undo that and look at this option here, which is rectangular array. If I select rectangular array, I can select my object to array, press enter, and array is basically creating copies in the X and the Y direction at a specific distance. So I'm going to choose the number in the X direction, let's say 8, the number in the Y direction, let's say that I want 4 copies in the Y, and since I'm working in 2D, I'm going to leave 1 copy in the Z direction. In terms of the unit cell spacing, I can define the X spacing, so let's say 3 inches, and the Y spacing, I'll say 3 inches again, and press enter. And now you can see that we're getting an array of this particular object, 8 in the X and 4 rows in the Y, 8 columns in the X. And now I just need to press enter or right click to accept this preview. So this tool gives me a preview of what the array looks like. I can go back and change any of these settings if it's not what I'm after, and if I want to make any changes, or I could just press enter to accept this, and now I have all of my arrayed elements. I'm gonna Control Z to look at another array option, which is a polar array, and this is again creating duplicates, only this time we're creating duplicates around in a radial pattern. So I'm going to select the object to array, press enter. If I select a point, let's say this point right here as my center of the array, I can specify the number of items, let's say 12 items, and I need to provide an angle to fill. So I can either left click to define the first angle, and then left click again to define the second reference point, or I could just maybe type in a specific distance or a specific angle like 180 degrees, and now you could see that this object is being replicated in a polar array around this center point that I've defined within 180 degrees. So again, I can make changes to this if I want to make changes, or I can press enter to accept the results of this. So these are the different options for replicating geometry using copy, mirror, and rectangular and polar array.